Okay, we're live once again. Great Scott, it's Doc Brown. Hope you guys are doing all right. You got lunch in our virtual food court. We have Peerless for this hour. We have Earl Nagel and we have Dwight Jenkins here from Peerless-AV. We're going to be talking about commercial mounting solutions. The great tagline for the name of this training: commercial installations are challenging. Are you adjusting your approach? So hopefully after this, you'll get a little bit more insight of what Peerless can do for you and your commercial projects as far as all their mounting solutions go. Oh, look at this! We already have a logo here on your presentation, Earl. You did a great job with it. So 50 points for being in here live. We're also going to be doing a raffle. Earl's going to be talking about the STS 650 mount that we're going to be raffling off. They're going to send it to you directly to the lucky winner. We'll let you know of that. I have a poll that I'm going to start here soon. If you have any questions, please continue to ask them in the Q&A section below. We'll get those answered for you, and hope you guys got some lunch from our virtual food court. If you didn't, go ahead and do it. We're giving free lunch every day, $20 Grubhub gift card during our virtual roadshow. So we have Earl here with Peerless. Thank you so much for being here. And whenever you're ready, you get started.
Absolutely. Thank you for the introduction, Mark, and welcome to everyone that's participating in 21st Century's 2024 Roadshow. We are thrilled to be a part of this event. We look forward to it each and every year. Today, we're going to spend about 50 minutes learning about the commercial installation industry and how new products from Peerless-AV that we showed at InfoComm are relevant. First of all, I'll introduce myself. My name is Earl Nagel. I'm the managing director here at Peerless-AV. I often start the call with, I am as old as I look. I've been in the industry 41 years now, and I have a unique perspective, having played in every capacity within the industry, starting in retail, transitioning into distribution, worked for a period of time as a consultant. I was an independent rep principal for over 20 years, and now have spent my last 10 years here at Peerless-AV. For those of you that remember Avid, I was one of the principal founders some 20 years ago in that distribution new model. Today's webinar is focused around, as I mentioned, commercial installations. They are changing just like the resi market. And we're going to go through maybe some approach changes that you'll want to make based on some of the products you're going to see here that are new from Peerless-AV. We're seeing rapid changes, not only in the resi market, but in the commercial space as well, where there's a high intense focus on serviceability, scalability, adjustability, aesthetics, mobility, a lot of words that end with Y, but we're basically seeing the need for efficiencies across all categories, and that goes with one of the newest genres of products that may not be touching the resi world as significantly as it is the commercial space. But we're going to spend quite a little bit of time near the end of the call discussing DV-LED and the opportunities. This format of webinar is for anyone that's involved in the industry, whether you design it, specify, install, or buy these categories. I think today's topic will be not only informative and educational, but we hope it will be interactive. There is a Q&A panel at the bottom, as well as polls that Mark has put together. So look around for those and respond accordingly. But I wanted to point out about 5 growing trends that we're seeing in the commercial space. I want to start off with some acronyms. Our world is filled with acronyms, and the commercial space is no different. But terms like ADA, if you're not familiar with it, is a very relevant issue in the commercial space, as is TAA, and of course UL. I'll go into what the importance of mobility and interactive and UCC products are driving new products from Peerless-AV. And then a big concern, particularly with the tier 1 integrators that are in the commercial space where they do large deployments, is the after installation serviceability and the ability to scale projects sometimes not only across the U.S. or North America, but in many cases worldwide. And then we're seeing the same phenomenons in the commercial space as you're witnessing in the residential space. Things are getting larger and largest. The panels continue to grow, and with that comes a different set of challenges. And we're going to go through some of the new feature enhancements we've made, particularly with Smart Mount, articulating our mobile carts, et cetera, that deal with the panels growing in scale. And then, as I mentioned before, we're going to end it with DV LED adoption. You'll see a lot of this, whether you go to church on Sunday, Saturday, you'll see it in houses of worship, boardrooms, sports venues, transportation. And I would believe after coming back from CEDIA a couple weeks ago, the plethora of DV LED manufacturers tells me there's a lot of market in the upscale residential marketplace as well. For those of you that don't know, we invented the world's first TV mount with Zenith. The company's 80 plus years here at Peerless-AV. And a little known fact, but we started with rabbit ear antennas back when television off-air antennas were necessary. And Zenith, after post-World War II, with a lot of our infantry coming back, needing to heal in the Veterans Administration hospitals, we collaborated with Zenith and built the very first TV mount. From there, over 80 years, we began to spread out. We now have offices throughout the world. Our global headquarters is here in Chicago, but we have an EMEA office as well as a Monterrey, Mexico, and regional warehouse positions. So no matter where the project is, we can facilitate it. For those of you that only know us for mounts, I've got a pleasant surprise for you. We're in the outdoor TV and display category, and tomorrow we will be hosting a Neptune outdoor television seminar and webinar, and I hope you can join us there. But we also manufacture integrated kiosks. We supply the third, maybe the fourth largest, I don't know where they sit right now, EV charging station in the world. It's owned by Shell. It was formerly known as Volta. All of those are manufactured here in Chicago. We make, obviously, wall systems for DV LED and LCD to complement our TV wall mounts. So give you an idea of the space we're under. If any of you come to Chicago, I'll be disappointed if you don't call your friend Earl and see if you can't schedule a factory tour. We actually manufacture products here in Chicagoland area. Top left is a picture of our facility. The middle top row in the center is the Volta/Shell kiosk. We ship anywhere from 200 to 400 of those a month. And then you can see, laser CNC cutter up on the right and all the machinery and such that's available. For those of you that are just getting acquainted with our brand, maybe for the first time, we serve numerous verticals. About 80% of our business globally is in the commercial space. So we are experts in this vertical. The vertical is comprised of a lot of sub-industries, for instance, corporate education, government, mass transit, QSR, retail, and even stadiums and venues. Because we're in the mounting category and because of our age and the talent of our people, we've networked strongly with OEM manufacturers to make sure that all of our products are compatible with their roadmaps. And it also gives us incredible insights to the change that we're going to discuss here today as we get into the products. You do have comfort of associating yourself with Peerless-AV on any commercial or residential product. We do business with the best of the best, from Walmart, Sam's, Tim Hortons, McDonald's. Those are a few logos that are not on this slide. But if you go into any 3-star plus hotel, it's a high probability that you'll see our Peerless-AV mounts. Just pull the TV away from the wall. If it's articulating or pivoting, put your head back there and you'll probably see a Peerless-AV sticker in any of these hotel properties. That is one of the brand standards to get 3-star plus rating for hotels, is the television needs to be viewable all throughout the guest room. We are advocates of certification. As you'll see deeper in the slide deck, that is a requirement to do business in some areas. For instance, OSHPD is a seismic rating for the places like California. RoHS is more of an environmental standard, and CUL, UL are electrical and mechanical standards that are guidelines to do business either in Canada or in public spaces. I just put some slides together here to help educate those of you that may not be familiar with. I hope most of us are familiar with UL because we have UL products all throughout our homes, our offices. But it's just an acronym for Underwriters Laboratories. They are a certification facility that makes sure products are safe. They're not counterfeit. Ironically, UL was founded in our backyard in 1894. It's a rather old organization, but it can be critical for doing business, as I mentioned, in Canada, state and local, and education, government, and any commercial, and in most cases, residential as well. TAA compliancy is a critical compliance spec if you want to do business in state, local government. All of our products, we put these icons on our sell sheets. So if you're ever curious of whether something is TAA compliant or UL, I got to turn on the light here. There we go. Move around. You will see that on all of our sell sheets. TAA compliancy means that basically the product is built to promote fair international trade and protection of the U.S. economy. Hence, products from China, for instance, are not TAA compliant, and we manufacture only one of our product lines from China. And then we're going to visit on ADA. This is a lesser known act, but it is very important in the commercial and public sector. It basically allows anyone with a disability to be protected from discrimination or exclusion from jobs, transportation, places, and public. That means that when you see that ADA compliance logo on any of our brochures, that means it is designed for the sight impaired, the hearing impaired, those that might be disabled and must use a wheelchair. So it just gives proper equity use of technology. And it's a term that everyone should be familiar with. I put in some quick links here so you can navigate and learn more in case you're interested after the call. Want to stay on pace. The big call out here, we are at ISO 9001 facility. We have never had a safety recall. We're one of only 2 North America self-certifying labs for UL, meaning we can do all the UL testing here at our facility. We co-wrote with UL and another vendor the UL 1449 spec for testing out the durability and load capacities for mounts. Of course, we do a lot of residential solutions. If you're predominantly in the residential and trying to grow your business, venturing into commercial space, we do a lot of products that are already on the shelf with 21st and all the powerhouse members, including the Neptune Outdoor Displays, which will be doing a seminar, educational seminar tomorrow, and projector mounts, all kinds of wall mounts and accessories. So transitioning now into products and how they apply to some of the changes within the commercial space. At Infocom, if you weren't there, you would have saw a massive exhibit by Peerless-AV. We typically display in a 50 by 50 or larger area next to Samsung, LG, Sony, all the big prominent tier 1 video manufacturers. And these are just a few of the products that we showcased, and all of them that were new entries. I put a new icon there just to call them out. We're going to go over all 9 of those products today in a pretty efficient manner, just so we can stay on schedule here. And I'm checking my time. Looks like I'm running on time. So I'll continue at this pace. This was our exhibit at Infocom. On the left-hand side, that skeletal structure may mean nothing to some of you on the line, but what that is a mounting structure that's in concave format, and that is used to support DV-LED. If you look at the photo on the right, that is our kitted product. This is designed more for flat walls up to, maybe a 10 by 8 flat wall, no curves, no outside corners, no inside corners, where the left, bespoke, is built custom. You can wrap around corners, go around doorways, concave, convex, mount to the floor, from the ceiling, etc. And we're going to go through towards the end of the meeting a little bit about that. But we also won some awards at the show. For instance, our full sun outdoor television won Best of Show for an outdoor product by Commercial Integrators. And we will be, again, teaching a little bit about the outdoor space tomorrow. On the right is our new STS 650, the mount with clear acrylic on the left-hand side of the right photograph. And then the right cart is a new cart that just got HEPMA certified, which is a Higher Education Technologies Manufacturers Association, a full mouthful. But basically what that is a organization that properly vets technology to go in the commercial K through, or not commercial, but K through 12 or higher education. It's pre-vetted. Over on the left is the award we won for the STS 650. So you can begin to see these products that are coming out are really meeting the expectations of the marketplace. It's a bigger call out on our new seamless kitted one-to-one DV-LED solution. If you look at that photo, if you're new to DV-LED, if you know nothing about it, which no harm, no foul, everybody's got to learn. It is a rather new technology, and we are starting to see it enter into the resi market at the luxury level. In the commercial space, nearly every airport, house of worship, or any public venue is going to have some level of DV-LED in it. But if you could just imagine putting different displays side by side and stacking them, this happens to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 4 row, so 5 columns by 4 row DV-LED wall designed to go on a flat wall. The scissor mount is a nice new addition, both for commercial and residential, and was so well received, it actually won the Rave Award for Product of the Year. Down below is a hospitality product called an HPF 675, which can also be used in resi. So I'm going to go through some new products that weren't featured on the previous slides and why we brought them to market and how they could be meaningful to you. Prior to the launch of the PCM 150, we had a heavy-duty product for ceiling mount applications, but we've re-engineered it to bring the price down to a much more competitive level. You can see it's only $220 retail, but it has a lot of neat features that installers are telling us they need to see. For instance, the top plate is now a cathedral ceiling plate. If you see the subset images down on the lower right, you'll see it can hang from a cathedral or off a wall at 90 degrees. The drop is telescopic. It will go from about 40 inches of drop to about 63 inches of drop, but allows you 360 degrees of rotation. What we're seeing is in many, for instance, retail, where you have a lot of open space, not a lot of walls, where there's digital signage being deployed, many times you're having to drop that from a ceiling, from a joist, etc., and you need that extra extension, but you also need the ability to rotate. We also allow you to interlock these at plus 20 degree tilt, 15, 10, and 5, 0, and minus 5. So you have all kinds of availability to adjust the tilt so it meets the audience exactly where they're positioned in the store. Next up is going to be our new scissor mount. This is designed for boardrooms, conference rooms, large format digital signage. It could be integrated into home. It is a more luxury product, as you can see by its price. There are companion wings called ACC UCM2s. The next slide will show you a little bit better how they attach. But what this is doing, it's addressing the need, particularly with large interactive whiteboards for the commercial space that could be, 90, 100 inch, or even a large format digital signage where the display becomes unwieldy to service. Many times these can be put in a boardroom, a lobby, etc. You might have a cleaning crew that comes in at night, dislodges an HDMI cable. Question is, do you want to put 2 men in a van and have the wheels roll at twice the meter, or would you rather just send one tech out? The beautiful thing about this product, it has scissors integrated into it. The first strings at the very front are capped in red, and when you pull those down, that releases the scissor. So it will pop out the display, allow you to go under, add another black box, plug in the HDMI cable that the cleaning crew dislodged, any type of service that you might need to look at behind the television. That extension can go all the way up to 12 inches or locked in any position. I mentioned ADA earlier in the call. The beautiful thing about this is when you lock it, you could literally build in the back wall plate into the wall and recess the display to where the display comes perfectly flush, because in ADA, by its standard, you can't have any technology that comes out into the room more than 4 inches, which could be an obstacle for someone vision impaired or that's wheelchair bound. All of our in-wall boxes, we're trying to make those adaptable. So for instance, the 14x9 box, you can see it fits right nicely on the wall mount, right in between the wall mount opening. This allows you another level of product that you can bury in behind the display and keep it out of sight, out of mind, but local. Because one of the changes we're starting to see, even in commercial, and I think most of you can even relate it if you're in residential primarily, is we used to what we call head end everything. All the cables are going to some sort of control box or distribution box, et cetera, for audio video. That is becoming less the norm, both in resi and in commercial, where people are dedicating a room with the black box devices that can be streamers, they can be media players, et cetera. And this product is specifically designed for that application. Here's a great cutaway with an acrylic that gives you an idea how it would be put in use in the field. You can see the companion wings, the ACC UCMs. They attach right to the side of the STS 650 and give you another layer of expansion for all the little, wall warts, the media players, the streamers, any type of black device that you want to put behind the display so it doesn't get disrupted. This mount, by the way, weighs approximately 35, 38 pounds. It's quite bulky. And the reason it is, if you can imagine, as you go to large formats of displays, they can get quite heavy. And because they're heavy, the mount must be quite stable, particularly with interactive boards where you're touching them. You want no flex, and you will be very pleased when you install your first one. Here's an example, the media player going in behind the scissor mount. The cords, the black cords, allow you to release the teeth of the universal attachments that go on the back of the TV. So if you need to remove it, service the TV, you can. It's got height adjustment built into it, so you can level a large format and not see the incongruence between the top of the TV and the bottom of the ceiling. Here is the lock, and you even have cable cord management built into it. And we have tension built into it, so you get a superb feel when you move the display. And again, Incrolock, all these features are quite rich. We could even extend it from a 400 by 400 all the way up to a 4 by 600 with 200 millimeter extensions for the larger VISA footprints. The back plate is fully compatible with 16, 20, or 24 inches. So it doesn't matter, resi, commercial, Canada, we'll be able to mount with any wall studs. Okay, again, the in-wall box can be used in conjunction with this product, and it's $220 retail. The ACC UCM breadboard expansion wings are sold individually, and they're mounted either on the left or the right, or if you're using a pair left and right, and they will secure any VISA device up to 200 by 200, up to 10 pounds. Great expansion opportunities to clean up and install. Take the product that could get disconnected, put it behind the mount where it's not going to get played with or disconnected.
Let's get one away.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark. thanks. At the end of the call, we're going to be giving one of these away. So
why don't we give it away right now?
That sounds even better.
Don't go back to it, but maybe let's ask what is a feature that this mount had. Don't go back. Don't go back.
Okay, I'm gonna blow by it. I'm gonna just give them a quick.
Give us a feature from that you heard from this new mount from Peerless. Type it in, and we will get one over to you. One of the first one that answers gets us an advantage of using this mount. One of the features, we will get one for you. Well, everybody's
Awesome.
going to be right. Tilt, lockable, very good.
Awesome.
Okay, we'll pick the winner out. Go ahead, Earl.
Great. So next, we're going to transition into a new phenomenon called mobility. This is becoming a really sweet spot in corporate and in educational. If you can imagine a large 100-inch interactive whiteboard that might cost $4 to $10 grand, depending upon the vendor, the capabilities and the performance of the display. In a lot of cases, that's not really realistic to deploy in every single classroom or any office of a business. So what is occurring is people are taking the step forward to new technology, i.e. the UCC interactive whiteboard, but they're deciding they want the product mobile to offer it when needed to any classroom, any teacher, or any executive or someone in product management, engineering on a case-by-case basis. And the beautiful thing about carts is they're mobile. You can move them from one room to another, down a hallway to another extension of the school. These have been completely re-engineered. We had a predecessor series called the 500 series, SR 560, 598. These have all been updated to the 800 series and a host of new features. First thing you'll notice is the vanity backing on the top of the cart. That is designed to hide any black box devices, whether it be a media player, a streaming device, a computer that might attach to Visa. Clearly, since they're mobile, you don't want cords that can get caught, disconnected, then you have a trouble call out to the classroom, etc. So we have a vanity cap that can go over, cover all that clutter so nothing gets unhooked. And in most corporate offices, you're going to have a lot of glass where maybe somebody will be using this, but they'll butt it up to glass. It gets rid of all the unsightliness. But all of the range of new carts have much wider range capacity. For instance, the SR 898 will go up to a 110-inch display. It can even support a 21:9 aspect ratio, which is the new Microsoft Teams aspect ratio that's becoming adopted in more and more corporate environments. And the weight capacity is a whopping 300 pounds. The reason these are weighted to that level is a lot of these displays can get quite heavy when they're UCC and interactive, much heavier than what we're putting in the residential marketplace. Wide Visa compatibility. There's 5 degrees of plumb adjustment to make sure that the display is vertical. We include that shelf. It is also, I don't know if you can make it out, lipped. So if you put a laptop on there, it's not going to fall off the front. There's also a hinge door on the back that's magnetic. We include a pre-strung 3-outlet AC cord. Again, this is just inside of several generations of cords. We wanted to put everything in there that the customer might need. So there's 3 outlets, one for the display, one for the computer, and one for media device. If you need to expand those, you can. Comes with a full 20-foot cord, and that is pre-strung up the legs. We've also changed the ergonomics to make it ADA compatible. And here's its younger brother or smaller brother, and you can see some of the features here that I put in at the bottom. You can pull a wheelchair right up to either one of these, nested in there. And then for storage, an often overlooked phenomenon is where do you put these when they're not in use? Because schools clean floors, clean carpets, etc. And you've got to have a place where you can store these. Because of the design of the feet, we've designed them to where they can nest in a smaller area. And the beautiful thing is the tray protects the displays. When you invert these and nest them, the displays won't impact one another to fracture. These are all the things we've learned through our history of listening to our integrators in the field. And of course, it'll fit through a 30-inch door. Here's a lower priced, more K through 12 oriented and less features, kind of stripped away a lot of the performance features, lower pound rating, lower range, and just not the 20-foot AC cable integrated into it. There's no magnetic hinge shelf, but it is ideal for more price conscious customers such as K through 12 in EDU. Again, just summary of the product, again, ADA compliant. For those of you that are selling into the hospitality industry, we can cover every single property in all areas from guest room to common areas. This is a new product that we introduced at InfoComm. Its design is quite clutter-free. If you look at the collapsed mode, you can see when you look at the TV from the side, there is no visibility. Once this pivot collapses, it's nice and clean. All you see is this metal extrusion on the side, and it's now been up to 75-inch. So the concept of larger is also occurring in our guest rooms when we visit hotels. The last standard, 20 years ago was 43-inch, then it went to 50, then 55, and most recently, the latest size range has been consistently 65, but it's starting to creep into the 70, 75-inch. So we thought we'd update that. The reason we update that is we're brand standard for Marriott, Hilton, and others. Next up is our Smart Mount product, and it has all been refreshed. We have longer arms on all of our articulating Smart Mount mounts. It's cleaner cable management. It's a hook and hang design like most of our mounts. Very wide Visa options. It's compatible with all of our in-wall boxes. This will just give you an overview. I'm not going to spend a lot of time drilling down on the products because this deck will be available post-call. But just to summarize, on our large two-arm 771 that'll hold 150 pounds, we're now much more compatible with larger displays, 90-inch and plus. Our load capacity has been upgraded to 200 pounds from 150. We got rid of the height adjustment. What we found out was very few people were using the height adjustment. They wanted greater stability on the head. So when you fully articulating the mount, it wouldn't have any bounce to it. So you'll notice these are real fluid. And when they come out in a fully extended, they stay extended in a very tight and stable fashion. What you can't really see on this image are the end caps and the horizontal branding that cover all the fasteners and such. This mount can be laterally adjusted left and right. So if you're trying to get the TV to collapse and fall in a certain corner of the room, it gives you a lot more flexibility. And that's true with all three models, the 761 and the 752. As you go down from the 771 to the 762, 771 to the 761, you'll notice you'll go from two arms to one arm, and the weight capacity drops from 200 to 150, where the weight capacity drops on the 752 to 90 pounds. For the most part, that'll be more than adequate for most large format displays. Next, we're going to pivot to our family of product called Seamless. This is our family for DV-LED mounting solutions. What is DV-LED? There might be some people on the call today that are new to DV-LED, and don't be intimidated. This is going to be our future. If you were at CEDIA, you saw all kinds of DV-LED. It is entering the resi space at the luxury level. It's been around for years in the commercial space. But DV-LED just gives you a digital canvas to display. You've seen it throughout the world as you travel. Here's some columns that are decorated. Architects are now starting to build this into facilities. You can see it's on the ceiling, around the columns, and on the end wall there. It's becoming a commonplace. So DV-LED, why would anyone want to develop mounting devices or mounting systems for a new technology that is difficult to mount? Seams must be perfect. Display sizes vary all over the map with the DV-LED manufacturers, prohibitively expensive, and may require interaction with projects months and years. This is all of the downfalls we've seen of other mounting systems. This product category will be your largest opportunity you've seen in the last 20 years. There's a significant demand for DV-LED. The final projects are very impressive. They're engaging. They have a longer product life. LCD, on the other hand, is losing its appeal. It's been out for years. You can't create seamless walls like you can with DV-LED. There's just a lot of, you got burn-in, you got other issues with LCD that you do not have with LED. And it can increase your profit. And in many cases, if you're focused predominantly on residential, it can expand you into the commercial space. But this product category is growing exponentially. These are some examples of deployment here. Around a column, kind of cylindrical, wave up at the top. But what are the advantages in LED over LCD? Well, the photo on the right clearly illustrates the seams that are generated because each one of those 9 displays, 3 rows, 3 columns, or 3 by 3 as they call it, is disconnected with the bezel of the LCD portrait displays. With LED, you get rid of that. It's one display comprised of multiple displays without a seam. Primary benefits is it's high bright, little to no glare. It's got a really high contrast ratio, so it's very impactful. It can be IP rated for outdoor use. Its half brightness is twice of what LCD is, 100,000 hours or more. So there's a lot of reasons why DV-LED is getting deployed. Here's an outdoor venue in a large city. Viewing angle is not a problem. Viewing distance is enhanced. The further you get it back from it, like conventional LCD, it really pops. So our product family for DV-LED mounting is seamless. Clever name, because we get rid of the seams. This can be as much or as little as you choose. If it's your first project and you want to have us handle it from start to finish, we can do it. We can do all the consultation. We can manage the project. We can even do the full installation. That way, you know, you can get in and out of the project on time. If you're experienced and you've installed our kitted product, then the keys to the car are yours. If you want to install it yourself, we always recommend on our first experience to do consultation at a bare minimum. So this is a DV-LED mounting system exposed from behind on the display cabinets. Now you can see clearly this is a 5-column. So the first row at the very top exposes one, and then it incrementally increases the display as you go down to the bottom right. So you can see it's a 5-column by 4-row flat wall. It's an open frame architecture. This was the previous generation. This is what we won an Infocom award last year. We've since improved this. This is the vertical attachment points. It had Y adjustment. You can see the screws on the top right photo where you could adjust the heights. You could do the X-axis, the Y-axis, and the Z-axis. Well, wait, we've improved it. We've now introduced a new kitted 1-to-1. Going back to this wall, if I had 20 displays, 5 columns and 4 rows, the holy grail would be just to buy 1 mount and 1 display. Well, that's what you can do now with the new kitted 1-to-1. You simply multiply the columns by the rows, and that's how many mounts you're going to need. We've reduced all of the parts that come with the product to make them quite shippable in a small box. Before, your boxes would get really large. You'd have to deal with freight elevators, stairs, the weight of a single box with these long extrusions. Now the extrusions are cut down to a much manageable situation. So it is fully universal. The packaging's been reduced. It has full XYZ availability for the fine dot pitches. It is a 1-to-1 kit. It's quite accurate when you install it. And the SKU count is much less for 21st century once they start venturing into DV-LED. This will be everybody's future, by the way. The way the system works is with a patented DV-LED spacer that spaces the rails, which gives you the precision that you need for like a 0.9 dot pitch of the DV-LED. To give you an idea, that's about the width of the business card. So you have to be very precise when you're mounting these, or otherwise you get DV-LED display damage, or it will not align. And if you have congruence issues, as the wall gets bigger and bigger, there will come a point where the displays will not properly fit unless the mount is built to the specifications that's required to get the accuracy on DV-LED. This gives you an example of the box reduction. So you can imagine how much less room, how less taxing it is to move in and out to a project. And again, you buy one mount for each display. This shows you an example. This display here, all of the manufacturers, I want to point out, don't build the same size like we see in residential, where you got a 55, a 65, a 75, 100-inch Resi LCD panel. On LED, they vary. They might be 600 millimeters wide. They may be 910 millimeters wide. They could be 1200. So we have three sizes of horizontal wall frames that attach together. So you expand those joints from one to another to build out your wall, depending upon the array configuration. This one on the right is a 610. So it's using 610 millimeters connected into a 4x4 digital video wall. Beautiful thing is we support over 90 to 95% of the brands. So if you're not in the category yet, if you haven't connected with just video walls, Sony, Samsung, all the big names, Absen, LG, those are all companies that recommend our product by name. Gives you a lot of flexibility for X and Z axis and Y adjustment, including height. So you can get the wall completely dialed in. And this is how it expands. You're going to mount one, move over to the next expansion, and continue to build the wall. Only about 12 parts and fasteners are in the system. The beautiful thing is once you learn how to install this, if you're an installer or you come from the install world or you're concerned about an install team, is the beautiful thing is the system's not unique by brand or series. The same fundamental bones will work with Sony's DV-LED, Samsung's, as long as they're latching, and LG's, Absen. So you can pivot from one brand to another and you never have to retrain your install team. And the beautiful thing here is we have an online configurator that allows you to very quickly price this out. This is kind of going into the configurator so you can see how it functions. First thing you do is you're going to tell it where you're quoting from. You're going to click on the brand, then the series. You can clearly see that most of this brand, this happens to be Sony, is either 608 millimeters or 610. So you would choose the DV-LED 610 millimeter horizontal wall mount, and that's what you would build the wall out. So this happens to be, as you can see, an 8x8 configuration. And real time, we're giving you all of the details here for this series of product and a retail price. So you can instantly quote it out yourself. Once the wall is installed, we also offer trim kits that will clean up the side of the extruded aluminum, because if you look at these displays, they're all, because the tolerances and the need to be very accurate on the dimensions of the display, most of the cabinets are built out of aluminum, and that aluminum on the side of the display can be quite unsightly. So we offer a universal trim kit that will close off the sides and the top and the bottom. The top and the bottom remain 70% vented. So if you have a manufacturer that generates significant heat with their DV-LED, we can dissipate that. And these are all field cuttable and trimmable, so you can cut it down to size for the given DV-LED wall. This is an example of some of the finished products. Again, flat wall, maybe smaller than a 10x8. That's where it performs extremely well. No curves, no corners, no floor supported. ceiling mounted, etc. That all comes under our bespoke, our seamless bespoke. So we have kitted for flat walls and bespoke for all of the strange arrays that might go around doorways, curved, either convex, concave, around corners, etc. And these are some examples of the crazy stuff you could do with DV-LED in the commercial space. The background that you're looking at behind me is the photo on the right. That is Agua Caliente out in Palm Springs. I've created some links to this, so when you get the deck, you can look at some of these case studies and use them for maybe proposals and kind of enlighten you how you may want to start venturing into the DV-LED category, because we're a leader in this category. But that bar in Palm Springs, there's not a single flat panel LCD in it. Every single display in the entire casino is LED. So that tells you where the industry is going. This is an installation. We think it's about the second largest Samsung installation deployed in the world. It's on the African continent and in the country of Morocco, believe it or not. And we've got some videos here if you want to see a time lapse of how it was installed. But it goes around 313 degrees around a dome, and it has to meet precisely at the end. So you can see the amount of precision. We literally build a structure to hold this. It's not mounted to the outside structure of the building because of like seismic, building flex, all the nuances that can literally move a building a millimeter or two. That has to be taken into account. You can begin to see the enormity of this project.
Earl, isn't Peerless still assisting with installation? Don't you guys have a team that's going to help? I mean, especially for a project like this, if it's
this is not
first time doing it,
this is not where you want to cut your teeth.
Right.
This would not be your first project. On bespoke, we require you to use our installation as a subcontractor. The reason being is no two walls are ever going to be the same, as you can see by this. This is a one-off, so it'll never be recreated anywhere in the world. And that is my timer to let me know whether I'm on mark. And I've got 5 more slides, so I'm like right on time here. So kitted is something that we allow installers to do their own installation, but we always, on your first one, we encourage you to spend the $2,500 to have one of our PMs fly to site and supervise and teach your installers the best practices. I guarantee you the $2,500 will make you get in and out of the project on time with a fantastic result, and arm your install team on how to install their next DV-LED wall. So great question. Installation is a big, big topic. We can do as much or as little as you need us on kitted, but with bespoke, any custom wall configuration, we're going to have total control, including installation, because we want it to work just perfect. And I'm coming in for a really smooth landing here. With that, I'm going to open the floor, Mark, to any questions. Because the question that's not asked is the one that everybody has on their mind.
Earl, we've got a question here. Can we explain latching?
Yes. So if you were building an LCD wall, you would use conventional mounts like our DS-VW755, for instance, where the LCDs, the bezels, would be mounted one to another. Thus, you get the seams. The LCDs are not going to attach to one another. With LED, when we say as long as they mount or latch together, that's where our system will work, because what it's using is this latching as a reinforcement to where the entire display is latched all together. And the only manufacturer I'm aware of today that uses non-latching cabinets is the current line of Samsung. However, they have already told us that their next generation is going to latching. So it will not be an issue with Samsung either. Great question. I'm glad we covered it.
So it allows for a more perfect fitting in simplest terms, correct?
Yeah, the last thing you want is the displays to be floating because that's where damage can occur. Misalignment can kind of exacerbate. So you want them
Okay.
latch.
Okay. And Fernando had a question in regards to our warranty. And I think it had more to do maybe with the mounts and things that we were showing earlier, the carts, the STS 650 and so forth.
Yeah. So all of our mounts carry a 5-year parts and labor warranty. Most of our carts and such are 1-year parts and labor. Same with DV-LED and such. Since it is metal, and we do metal really well, it's rare. As you saw by an earlier slide, we've never had a safety recall. We're the only mount manufacturer out of the big three that's never had a safety recall in our history.
Okay. And we had one other question that came up, and it has to do with the direct view LED, like in a gymnasium or a cafeteria, maybe where the multi-purpose rooms, where maybe there's balls flying around, like during a gym period and that sort of thing. How is that dealt with in a all-purpose room like that?
Sure. The best thing to do is consult with the video manufacturer because we only do the mount. We don't do the DV-LED. Every single mount or a display manufacturer is going to have different series for different applications. One of them could be, an exposed LED to sports venues, for instance. You see it all the time in soccer, the perimeter around the field where it's LED. Almost every vendor of DV-LED has a series that deals with impact. If not, I have seen netting go in face of DV-LED as an added protection, but it's always wise to consult with the DV-LED display manufacturer.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Earl. Yep, we're right up at time. Really appreciate it. Dwight, you as well. Really good stuff here. For our next training, just so everybody knows, if you're in here and you want to get points, make sure when you go to our VCC, you click the attend button on the left side. You can go to the auditorium, but just know that you won't get points unless you click on the attend button. So we had some questions on that, just a little housekeeping. So just make sure you click on the attend button for the next training. And Earl, really appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much.
Hey, Mark, did we get a winner?
We did. I emailed him. I sent him a message to email us, and I'll send you his contact information.
That sounds great. Well, on behalf of everybody here at Peerless-AV, Dwight included, we want to thank you for your time. It's the most valuable commodity any of us have. You can't manufacture any more of it. You can't borrow it. When it's up, it's up. We appreciate your time that you spent with us.